Welcome! This is a short presentation about the Kurzweil PC88 piano. So when I got this piano, it turned out it had a few broken key weights and keys were chipped, and I decided to replace them. And so I'm going to go through the steps that I did to do that with you. So with one of the key races out of the way, you can see the middle set of key weights, and so you can see how they operate. So when you press down on them, they go up and provide weight against the key press. This little tab that breaks off is right under there, and what it does is it prevents the thing from hitting up there. These chassis are arranged on this race in sets of 4, and each of mine have 12 key weights. I've slid the chassis off enough to remove one of the key weights that's broken, and I'm going to replace it with this new one here by sliding it out, putting this one in place and pushing the axle back through the hole through the felt. At the end of that, though, there's still another problem, and that's this area right here, which normally has a circular washer to hold the axle, the metal axle in. And these washers are spaced intermittently, not completely along the chassis, and so there should be one on the end, and it's broken off. So for that, I've made a little washer. You could probably find them for sale, and the important part is, if I'm going to glue it with super glue, I don't want it to be made of polyethylene. So this is a polycarbonate that will glue with super glue onto here after the chassis is slid back on and the key weights are on. Alright, so we finally got down inside the Kurzweil piano, and inside we found the keys. A couple of them had little minor breaks that are going to get replaced. The biggest problem was with the key weights, which are these little guys here. One of them had fractured, and when we looked at a lot of others, we found that a lot of them had hairline fractures, even in non-stress points. And we were wondering if that might be due to just heat and cold, maybe cheap plastic being used. You notice the plastic is kind of yellowed with age, so eventually plastic gives out, and we're wondering if it's possible to recondition some of these key weights. So what I did was I tested a couple of different bonders with the idea that they could not only be glued together, but perhaps preventively built up with a casing of plastic around them, and basically remanufactured without having to buy new ones, because they don't make them anymore. So last night I tested Loctite's super glue ultra gel liquid control, and I also tested some PVC all-purpose cement, also known as white cement, and I tested them on some broken pieces of the key weights. Now, the piece that is kind of frequently broken, at least on my piano, were these little tabs that prevent the weights from making a clicking noise when they bang against the middle part of the keyboard case. So I used the broken tabs as a test, and I glued them together, and both of these cements, Loctite Ultra Gel Super Glue and the multi-purpose PVC cement, worked famously. They glued these little pieces together stronger than when they were first built. So this was a success, and it means that, in theory at least, we can at least fix the hairline cracks and possibly even build up the more stress impacted parts of the key weights to prevent them from breaking in the future or repair them. So we're going to do another test with another type of bonder, epoxy, either independently or on top of these other two cements, to see if we can actually do a stress bonding on these little tabs, which you can see have a little buttressed part to hold them together. Okay, so on to the next test. So I'm going to let you guys in on the test right now. We have this piece that was a keyweight repaired with Loctite epoxy gel. And we're going to test to see how strong it is. This is the part that was glued, the little tab, and it's got a glob of epoxy holding it together. I'm just going to push as hard as I can and we'll see if it breaks. Nope. So that works. There you go. Epoxy will fix keyweights with broken tabs. Okay, next test was this keyweight was broken completely in half and glued back together with Loctite Super Gel with a coating of PCV cement, all-purpose PCV cement. So it was broken right through the middle. I'm going to see if it'll break by giving it some torque. Let's see, 5 pounds, 10 pounds. Oh, it broke at 10 pounds. So that test was a partial failure. 10 pounds is a lot of pressure though, and that was a pretty severe break. So if you want to try that with a severe break like that, you want to maybe put a little bit more glue on it than I did. I only used 1 coat of each. And the last test is to see how strong Loctite Super Gel with accelerator works when gluing a broken key. And this key was broken right here and glued back together rather cleanly. So I'll call out the pressure as I pull on it. I'm pushing with about a ½ pound now. About 2 pounds, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what? I'm not going to break it. 6 pounds is plenty good. So this is fixed with Loctite Super Gel. Alright, 2 out of 3, maybe 2.5 out of 3. That's the results of the test. Thank you all for tuning in.